Hi, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Inner Circle. I'm looking forward to this call tonight, and I've had some really incredible feedback, so thank you. So, let me tell you about what we'll be covering tonight. Just keep in mind, I'm not the most technical person, so this is all very new to me. I'm using a new system, but there'll be lots of incredible information for you. So tonight on the agenda, we'll be looking at how to create chemistry by discovering how to enter a person's world. We'll be identifying the four main personality types, and I'll be showing you how to communicate effectively, even if you're complete opposites. And we'll be looking at the secret to decoding communication styles and language patterns. And I will help you get the connection you've always been waiting for your whole life, and you'll be the envy of your friends, and I'll show you how you can grow a relationship stronger and stronger every day. So, can everyone see my slides really well? Excellent, good to hear. Excellent, excellent. I'm getting lots of yeses, thank you. All right, so we've got an hour together. And by the end of the hour, I'm going to show you how, if we were to get, where to go if you want more help. And if that's okay, do I get any yeses out there? Yes? Good? All right. Perfect. Okay, let's get to it. So, what if you could, I'd like to ask you a question. What if you could avoid that uncomfortable feeling of not knowing what to say on a date? And we've all been there. You know what I'm talking about. What if you could avoid those really awkward silences, and worse still, trying to avoid and really overcome the nervousness by talking about yourself? And I hear that. It's very common where a person will come back after a date and say they didn't ask any questions about me, or they spoke about themselves. But what if you could actually bypass rejection and feel confident, and instead you could leave the past behind you and know that you too could have connection. You could too be an incredible influencer. I think it'd be pretty good, huh? So I'm going to show you today how to forget your old ways and learn new ways to communicate easily and effortlessly with anyone, anytime, which would mean you could create those flowing conversations, ignite chemistry, and be really considered a fun and engaging, charismatic person. All easily and naturally without thinking. So, before we head on tonight, I'd love to share a story with you. I love stories. So, let me tell you about Steve. Steve was one of my clients. He was a successful doctor. He had his own medical practice, and his business was thriving. He was going from strength to strength, and no, that's not him in the picture. I've had a few questions there. So he was in amazing shape. He had a really great sense of style. He was well-traveled, had all the toys he wanted, boats, cars, or he had a few sports cars, homes everywhere, a penthouse apartment, and he had really great friendships and traveled extensively. So for Steve, life was really good. But, anything that he really wanted, he could just go out and buy it. He had more professional success than he ever could imagine. But there was one thing missing for Steve, and it was huge. Steve would come home after a day's work. He'd look out into the harbour from his designer penthouse. He had breathtaking panoramic views. He could smell the freshness of the harbour, feel the sun beaming down on his skin, but he had no one to share any of those special moments with. And deep down, Steve was lonely. Steve was really, really frustrated. He would go on dates with women. He was very popular, so it was easy for him to attract women, but he couldn't keep them. And unfortunately, his dating life was an absolute mess. He barely got past the first or second date. You see, the women that Steve liked weren't attracted to him. And the women that were attracted to Steve he was not attracted to at all. And there was a huge disconnect. Steve was feeling a massive amount of rejection. He used to think, how could he have so much in his life, yet so little? When Steve came to me, he was absolutely exhausted. He told me his story, which I'm sharing with you right now. And I felt for him. I could see how lonely he was, how confused he was, how frustrated he was, and how he'd thrown himself into work. And by doing so, he forgot to connect. He had actually lost himself. Like I said, he had all the toys, but that didn't matter in the end. I felt for him. So I took him under my wing, and I just knew that something big was around the corner for him, and he was ready for a positive change. So I worked closely with Steve. He joined my intensive online coaching program, and we were working one-on-one. He was really committed, and still to this day he attends the monthly coaching programs, and his life has completely transformed. So long story short, I'd love to go into the detail, but now today Steve is engaged and he's looking to marry this summer. So how did it all happen? Well, I revealed my secret strategies to him, and the rest is history. So tonight we only have an hour, but I will be revealing as much as I possibly can within that hour. So if it's okay with you tonight, we're going to move pretty quickly. I'm going to be giving you everything that I have in this hour. So we've got, make sure you take the very best of notes. And if you like, I'd be happy to give you a copy of this audio recording and a copy of my slides. And so if that would be of benefit to you, just let me know. Yes, please. I'm getting lots of yeses. Good. Excellent. And so I'd love to know, how helpful has this been so far? And please remind me at the end to send you this info. All right. I'm going to give you some new visuals now. I know a lot of you people are wondering, what is this list? I will cover that shortly. So tonight we're talking about connection. Connection. We all want connection. We're going to be discussing how to be irresistible and how to, help you make rejection history, because nobody likes that at all. And as humans, what we do is we do more to avoid pain than we do to feel pleasure. And this is what this laundry list is about. Oh, this is my example, so think about it. Have you ever met anyone, or it could even be you, with a big, long list? A huge laundry list. Huge, a list of what their next ideal partner should be, what they should have, and what they shouldn't have. I mean, I have seen some incredibly long lists. Everything from eye color, hair color, location, income, height, personality, profession, how they even pronounce their words. I remember one lady said to me she wanted to meet a man that said H and not H, and that was a big deal breaker for her. I've even had, I've seen lists with people must be bilingual. So when you think about it, that list is really huge, and you may think, oh, their standards are really high. But what's really actually happening? I think, the list is getting longer and longer, and the opportunities getting smaller, and the likelihood of meeting someone significantly is reduced. So, in turn, as the list gets longer and longer each time, they stay single. And all of a sudden, this individual is trying to find something wrong, and they start to focus on everything they don't want rather than everything they want. So ultimately, what happens is they continue to get what they don't want, and they get stuck in pain. Now, this is something I'd love to share with you. I don't know if it's really... Here we go. So I'll quote. Whatever you focus on only grows stronger. So if you truly desire a positive change in your life, then you must focus on what actions you'll take, or you'll take to change things for the better. So don't dwell on what you don't want. Start to think about what you do want. And it may seem such a little simple thing, but it makes a huge amount of difference. You know, by thinking you can control a situation, keeping your list long, and protecting yourself, what you're really doing is closing doors. And instead of feeling, you know, living the life of abundance, you're living life of scarcity. So my big tip for you, and this is an absolute must. Please write this down in capitals and colors and stick it on the fridge wherever you are. So the number one tip, and this is huge, is promise to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. And that's something as simple as that. It's a tiny, tiny change, but it will make a huge difference to you. Creating chemistry, one of my favorite topics. So, how do you become intensely irresistible and make rejection history? I love that question. When I was in New York just a few months ago, it was a huge topic at the matchmaking and coaching professionals conference. It's huge. So, I'm going to share with you top 3 things to make you irresistible. So, are you ready? Alright, number 1. Check your ego at the door. Now, I quite like that door. It's a big blue door. So, ego. Why is it important to check your ego at the door? Know what you're wondering? So, the ego, or as I call it, is your mini-me. It's that voice in your head. That voice, that nagging voice that says, you can't have this and you can't have that. You can't have it all. It's really all about self-doubt, and it creates the rule of how things should be and how they shouldn't be. The ego looks for perfection and it nitpicks. The ego is full of defenses and it's designed to protect you. So, whilst it has good intentions, it's not necessarily good for you. So as a result, unfortunately, in most cases, your ego sabotages you. It often stares at your past, puts up walls almost impossible for anyone to connect with you. It gives you the big capital reasons as to why things can't happen, and it closes doors. Your ego tries to prove your worth to the other person rather than just knowing your worth and connecting. So how do you know your ego is talking? Well, if you're super nervous on a date, it's a sign your ego is taken over. Or if you find yourself talking excessively, trying to prove yourself, talking about yourself, forgetting about the other person, chances are it's ego. So if this ever happens, and it's happening to you, I want you to take a deep breath and stop. Be conscious. Be aware that you're making it about you, and in turn, and really, really turn things around and make it about your date. Focus on it connecting instead. Make it about the other person, all of a sudden, you forget about you. What's going on? Your mini-me. And that's when true connection can happen. And I know that's how I overcame public speaking. Grew up quite a nervous, shy, or more, not so nervous, but shy, really afraid of public speaking. And it wasn't until I was at a Toastmasters, and I remember looking out to the crowd, and I just connected with them. I smiled with them from within, and I remember thinking, I'm here for you. And I forgot all about me and had the best presentation. I didn't even need notes, so that was amazing. So make it all about your date, regardless of what you're feeling. So I know that most of you are thinking, look, my ego is checked in the door, and I'm pretty, you know, I'm down to earth, and I'm in the moment. I feel confident. I only put my walls up at the beginning. Doesn't everyone get nervous? Don't you have to sell yourself? And of course, everyone does get nervous, and there is, you do need to put your best foot forward, but it's important you make it resourceful. Can you imagine how many people you've chased away in the past by doing this? And it only takes a few moments to make an impression on someone, and it can really make or break your date. And this also spills into your professional life as well. It could be job interviews, promotions, getting that deal across the line. So I'm going to give you some really good strategies to help control your ego. So when you hear your mini-me or your self-doubt kicking in, I want you to say, "Thank you, mini-me. I acknowledge you. I'm here," take this time when you're in front of that person and say, "I'm here to connect. I'm here for my date." Once you've acknowledged your mini-me, make it all about them. Actively listen. For example, if they've just come back from a holiday, maybe Hawaii or the snow, given it's winter, instead of saying, "Oh, me too," and shutting that down and making it all about me, I want you to ask them, "Tell me about it. What do you love about it? What was your favorite spot? Is there somewhere else in the world that you'd like to go?" Show a keen interest in, and guess what? All of a sudden, they'll be super interested in you. Can you imagine if someone asked you all those questions about you? I mean, as humans, the most interesting person to talk about is ourselves. So, a little reminder, when you hear your mini-me giving into that self-doubt, acknowledge it and let it go. Say, "Thank you, mini-me. I now choose to feel confident." I'd love you to try it. Okay. So step 2. Oh, actually, here I go. I love this slide. This is an indication of ego and soul. So when you're in your heart space, I'm just going to hide this thing, I think, here. Oh, good. A bit worried that it disappeared. Here we go. Screenshot. Okay, so ego and the soul. So when you're in your ego, when your ego's talking, is when you feel anger, blame, coldness, pride, jealousy, stuck, madness, resentment, denial, hostility, all those pretty icky feelings, and even chaos, and you're complaining, and it's all about power and winning. And that feels heavy. When you're in your heart space, when you're truly connected, it feels good. It's all about we, not me. It's about love. It's humble, friendly. It's light. It feels good. Grateful. Gratitude is really, really important. It feels peaceful, free, tolerant, and it's really, really understanding. Now, isn't that a beautiful thing? I know, I love it. All right. Connect with yourself is step 2 for being irresistible. Now, everybody loves somebody that's comfortable in their own skin. Could you imagine feeling 100% comfortable in your own skin? So confident that you could express your own needs, wants, and desires without the fear of rejection, and just knowing your worth, knowing that you're a good connector. And the fact that you're here today shows me that this is really important to you. And you've already started to connect with yourself without even realizing it. So imagine if you accepted yourself. What do you think would happen? What do you think other people would do? How would they respond to you? Do you think if you felt connected with yourself, they would connect with you? That's right. They would. They would follow. They would respect you. You could lead them, show them how you expect to be treated. And in turn, they would admire you for it. People that are connected with themselves, they're really confident. They feel safe. They feel safe within themselves, and they feel safe to be around. They're self-assured, and they just know everything is okay at this very moment, and things will continue to be okay. They look for the strength within. They have a really solid internal strength, and on the outside, they're very peaceful. So they're very much within their heart space. They tend to have more relaxed shoulders, more flexible bodies, more flexible minds. So let's look at how and what is connecting with you. And you know that you're connected when you feel relaxed. You feel grounded. You feel as though you're in the flow. You know that feeling that you've just stepped out of the ocean on a summer's day and you've had an incredible swim with the salty water and the coolness of the ocean all over your body. And you're just walking out, you're looking for your towel, and you can feel the sun on your skin. Everything just melts away and you feel really good. So connecting with yourself is like, well, for those of you yogis out there, you know what I'm talking about. So how can you get in the flow and connect with yourself? Well, firstly, relaxation techniques. Be open. The key to attractiveness and being irresistible it's really all about abundance and acceptance. So when you're relaxed and you're open to new opportunities, things happen for you. The mindset of possibility. The possibilities are endless. Romance and connection come your way, even opportunities professionally through every area of your life. So we need to concentrate now on highlighting your assets and downplay, the not so perfect bits. Make a list of everything that you love about you. Make a list of everything you love about you and everything you like about you. I want you to connect with that feeling of goodness. Feel what it's like to feel good and invest in you. And the fact that you're here today is you're investing in you, your time. You're taking that time out. You could go for, as I suggested before, a yoga class, a gym session, boxing class. Get outdoors to an outdoor fitness, a weekend away, a visit to a health retreat. All these things will help you gain more confidence because you feel more connected with yourself and in that present moment. Connection is all about you. It's about connecting with yourself physically, even looking at the foods that you're fueling your body with. Are you fueling your body with good nutrition, or is it sugary and fatty foods? The sugary and fatty foods give you a temporary high, followed by, that low feeling and that muffin top. So, when was the last time, also connecting with yourself, is when you upgraded your wardrobe or got a new hairstyle? Or you may love your hairstyle, but something new is always, it may be a slight different in color, cut, who knows? I mean, imagine if you did all of this connected with you, did something with your wardrobe, your hairstyle. How confident would you be? How would you feel about yourself? Could you imagine the positive energy that you would give off? I think you'd have a lot of ooh la la moments, that's for sure. So, number 3. This is important. Oh, this is a photo I wanted to share with you. It's all about courage, and I love how this beautiful little cute pussycat sees himself as a big courageous lion, so very connected with himself. Oh, here we go. That's my next slide. All right, so how to make a person feel $1 million. Now this is gold. Entering a person's world is incredibly important. I mean, imagine the outcome of making your date feel so special about themselves that when they left, they remembered the good feelings that you induced in that person. And you know that feeling. You've experienced it. You know when you've met someone with charisma and charm? You feel so good. Just want to spend more and more time with them. So what actually is charisma and charm? So charisma, it's not exactly the same thing as confidence. But appearing confident makes you more charismatic because your confidence is about putting others at ease and inspires faith in your abilities. If you're seen as a, really confident person, people will naturally want to be around you. They will trust you. You will attract more and more people within your life because they'll just want to be around you. And a part of how to be confident. And I've got this strategy. If you don't feel confident, it's okay. Fake it till you make it. Pretend. You will start to believe. Everyone's had their highs and lows. This is your time right now, and it's your decision. It's a good time for you to make that decision to actually start to live life. So how to be confident? I want you to be really positive. Confident people are really positive because they love who they are. They love what they do. They don't start off conversations by criticizing another person. That's a huge no-no. No criticism of even place, political figure, anyone. Instead, they focus on the things that they love, and that naturally engages people and makes people want to be around. Again, remember that slide. Focus on what you want. It's really appealing. The other way to project confidence is to speak with confidence. Speaking with confidence, it doesn't mean talking louder, definitely not, or even more than everyone else. If you do want to say something, say it with conviction. Speak at a really relaxed pace and speak really clearly. People will appreciate that. It's important to vary your tone, rhythm, pitch, and volume to emphasize the important words and to keep your speech interesting. And some of you may know that only 7% of words is communication. The rest is body language and tonality. Interesting, isn't it? 7% of words. We focus on those. I think that's probably why text messages often get misread and misunderstood in emails. And interestingly, that's how we all communicate. So, I think we should pick up the phone and get connecting. And that social media, not to mention all of that too. I know I much prefer to say hi. So, also, let's look at other ways to appear confident. Okay, to appear confident, I want you to be confident or fake it till you make it. The truly confident people, they love who they are. They love what they do. They love what they look like. Well, most of it, they don't feel if you don't feel confident on the inside, I want you to work on emphasizing those qualities and addressing your flaws, but just really, really highlight on your strengths and get back to that list I just discussed about what are the things that you love about yourself and what are the things you like about yourself, and really focus in on your great qualities. And remember, if you're still working on developing your inner confidence, having a confident voice and clothes that look good, positive body language can go a long way in making people feel confident around you, and it does project that charisma. And charismatic people they're really good at maintaining eye contact and smiling and being warm and having an open body language. They rarely have cross legs or cross arms. It's all about an openness, and they love to use humor. Humor is really important. It's one of the best ways to connect with someone. A vibrant, positive personality complemented with confidence is everything you could really want. And trust is everything. And it's really important to trust yourself and trust in others and trust that everything will be okay again, and you're perfectly imperfect, and someone out there will love you for every little bit of you. And a little bonus I'd love to share with you is really when it comes to having flowing conversations and being really irresistible to your date, I want you to focus on open-ended versus closed-ended. So, did you have a nice weekend planned versus what have you got planned for the weekend? Can you see how, well, do you have a nice weekend planned is very much yes, no, I don't know, probably not, versus what have you got planned for the weekend? And even if it's a, look, I don't know, oh, okay, well, what would you like to do this weekend? I hear it's going to be a beautiful day, or, it's snowing, or whatever it is. Maybe it's a sport, reconnecting, someone's birthday. So it opens up so many opportunities for you to have flowing conversation. Or one of my favorite ones is holidays. So instead of saying, are you taking a holiday soon? Ask the question of, so where is your next dream holiday destination? If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And one of my absolute favorite questions to ask is, and I see this, when I used to run singles events, and it was quite hilarious. I'd have everyone turning around and staring at me, and I'd be like, okay, guys, mingle. And they'd all turn around and stare at me, and I'd be like, yeah, so just mingle. And again, staring back at me. So I then came up with a few questions that were 100% guaranteed to strike up an intense conversation, incredible conversation that was really positive. And I found that the best question to ask was, if you were a movie star, who would you be? And you should see their faces light up. It's like the inner child comes out. They become very playful. And it's just so refreshing. And you think about yourself. I mean, if you're a movie star, who would you be? You got to watch The Boys That Say James Bond, though. I'm not so sure about those ones. Just kidding. And another question that was really fantastic, and I actually remember someone obviously came to one of my events and stole the question because I was at a lawyer's event, big function, and they used my question. So I was like, oh, it was quite flattering, actually. The question is, got a drum roll, is, so tell me about your first kiss. And that is something that brings up a whole mix of positive emotions, because most people's first kiss was completely disastrous, and I know mine was. It scarred me for many years. But yeah, tell me about your first kiss. The big no-no is definitely don't talk about your ex or your past relationships. But your first kiss is often a very, very funny experience. So you can have those special questions. Make sure you use them. Which brings me to my next topic. Something I really love to talk about is the 4 main personality types. I love them. And when you understand this is something that you can utilize with connecting with people who are, your partners or friends, colleagues, even your clients. It's beautiful information to know. So these 4 main personality types is something from, well, basically they come from a behavioral profiling called DISC, DISC profiling. So they definitely have an impact on how you communicate and who you communicate very well with, what your drivers are. So we all want really functional, happy relationships that fulfill our needs. And, if we all want the same things, then you're probably wondering, why are they so difficult? Why can relationships be so difficult at times? And something I've often asked myself, how does this happen? Seeing this time and time again. Some people have easily and effortless relationships. And I've discovered over the years it's really all about connection. It's all about making it about the other person, and it's understanding personality types. So have you ever just wondered why you click with some people and not with others? Have you ever noticed that some people walk into a room, it completely lights up, they breeze through life with being popular, it's like everybody loves them, they have so much energy, variety and adventure in their life, and they speak quite fast, they always seem to be doing everything right. Yet sometimes they have the most disastrous relationships. But they're having fun. That's often you hear them say that, but deep down they're a bit confused. Well, what about the other people? They're always putting themselves second, giving to others, making sure everyone else is comfortable, often at their own expense, and deep down, they feel resentful because they feel as though everyone's walking on them and their needs aren't being met. Or, the person who wants to know everything about every little tiny detail. They can be really quiet at first, but as you get to know them and peel back the layers, you find an incredible individual who, simply takes time to open up and trusting others. They just love to know the detail. Or the other person, the really dominant person who's driven by significance. They live by the motto, it's my way or the highway. They're very powerful, they're strong, very successful. They're all about outcome. They want results, and they want them yesterday. They can be demanding in very unresourceful states, but they're often considered like the alpha males or the alpha females. If you want something done, you give it to them, and it will get done. Often they'll delegate, but it will get done. So think about, do any of these personality types resonate with you? And as individuals, we generally get, blended with 1 to 3 personality types, often normally 2 or so being your dominant. So if you look at the disc profiling, let's look at the boxes on the left. So you've got the dominant personality, the alpha person. They love results, control, challenge. They love leadership, authority. They're fast, very, very quick decisions, and they're quick to the point. This is an individual you really should never talk too much detail over. They're just more all about outcome. So, the thing with this person is they have this desire to win. They're really competitive, love a challenge, and the bigger, the better. They do like facts, but not too much detail. They're very fast-paced and getting to the point. So, like the conscientious person, as much as they do like facts, they're for different reasons. It's more so about outcome versus the need to be right. This person loves to be in charge of several things at once. They make really great directors, very good CEOs, lawyers, and they love environments of power and authority. They're big pictures, as I mentioned before. They love to delegate the details. And they don't like to be told what to do. They're not interested in other people's opinions, and they can be rather impatient. They're very much the what people, and they want to be very clear on the end goal. So this is a little picture of a dominant person. I want it done, and I want it done right now. And some of you out there may know whether you have this trait within you. And this is all about being behavioral flexibility. So there are moments where it's really resourceful to turn this on, turn this energy type, model it, and get things done. I'm going to go back to that paragraph, back to the model. Oh, pussycat's back. All right. So we're going to go down to the yellow box. Is for the people who want to be liked. They're influencers. This person's really charismatic. It comes so naturally to them. They love being around people. They're driven by variety, by adventure and connection. They're very much about big picture. They get bored easily with the details. These people actually struggle communicating with the conscientious person because they are so opposite. And that's where they can actually butt heads. But to understand your own energy type and those of others opens up many doors for you to communicate. So the people who are influential, they get excited about possibilities of the future, what it could mean for them. They avoid confrontation. They're motivated by the importance of being like big time. So when they do, if this is you or you know of somebody in this energy type, when it comes to confrontation, they will hide. They will avoid it, versus the dominant person will take it on. So as you can see, when you're in negotiation, which energy type's a better one to model, and we can all do that, it's all within us. So the people who want to be liked, they love being a center of attention. They're actually afraid of missing out on things or events. They crave variety and connection. They have an uncanny knack of making you feel really comfortable, and they're quick to get involved in heart-to-heart conversations. They're the people that you'll be sitting on a bus and they will tell you their life story. And you may never actually see them again, but you think, gosh, that person was lovely, weren't they? So this person, got a little picture for them as well, if this is you. There you go. Let me tell you what happened to me. Although I think it should be more of a smiley person. Often the archetype that is described by the influencer is often called the joker. And the dominant is the warrior. And the next one we have is the stable. Even though this man is a man, it is often associated with the archetype of the mother archetype. But it's quite a masculine energy in the same sense, because a person with this energy, they're really stable. They love certainty, predictability. They take time in making their decisions. They can be a little on the conservative side, and they stick with their relationships or hobby and career for a really long time. They're really reliable. They're driven by security, safety, and they love connection. You'll find they're really family-oriented. They have an outstanding ability to take care of others, and they look after others' needs, as I mentioned before, at the expense of their own. They thrive in slow-paced environments that are very well systemized, and if the environment isn't organized, they'll organize it. So the person who's stable tends to also have the same role for a very long time. So they're in the green box. They tend to be very relaxed. They're accepting. They're a good listener. They're tolerant. They're sensitive. They're slower paced. They are very patient. And you'll find that you can tell this person. For example, if you were to go to their home, they would be the person that would offer you a cup of tea or a glass of water, and they want to make sure that you're comfortable. They tend to also wear quite comfortable clothing, so it could be sneakers, Ugg boots. They're really all about comfort. Are you learning lots? Yay, I know you are. Alright, my last person I'm talking about, the last personality type, is the compliant. They have the need to be right, and they love the details. So as you can see, this gentleman, can you provide me the documents for your claims? This person is best known for their technical prowess. They love detail. You normally find this person in a career that's highly specialized, like a professor, CPA, engineers, hence the need that they want to be right. So, not in an egotistical fashion at all, more so in an analytical, factual type fashion. Their personalities tend to be standoffish and they misinterpreted quite often as cold. However, they are the most loyal individuals. The criteria for establishing trust is normally really long and detailed, and once you've entrusted them, they'll stick with you for life. So there you have it, personality types. Let me go back. We didn't go back to the box. Let's go to the box. Let's be fair. All right. They love systems, details, precision, planning. They can be stubborn, very formal. They love rules. They're well prepared, and they're organized. So you're probably knowing, getting this information, you'll perhaps be able to get some insight into what your personality is, what your dominant traits are, and perhaps the people that you've been dating. And maybe it even gives you some answers from your past relationships as to why things were easy and effortless or not. Compliant. Oh, we're nearly there. So, there you have it. Personality types. So, it's easy to see how the person who wants to be liked is driven by variety and adventure, and is often picks partners who are emotionally unavailable, who are up for a bit of a challenge. If a man or woman who hasn't resourcefully fulfilled their need for a variety and adventure, they're going to be looking for it externally with another person, and that's not ideal. Only a few months ago, I had a really funny client come into me. He was hilarious. He had this big red beard, and he was quite eccentric. And he sat down and he looked at me and he said, "Tell me, Sam, why do I go for all the broken women?" And I said, "Huh, just in that one sentence, I can tell you, because you're more likely driven by variety and adventure. So tell me, what do you do for fun?" And he said, "Oh, I read books, I watch TV, and I travel." I said, "Wow, how often do you travel?" And he said, "Oh, look, once or twice a year." And I said, "Interesting. So for variety and adventure, you read books, watch TV, and you travel. So effectively, you're living a really boring life, and that's why you're going for the crazy ladies." And he says, "Oh, I never thought of it that way." I said, "All right, so let's look at what you want to do. Tell me. What are two things that you've always wanted to do?" And one of them was taking up a martial art, and the other one was sailing. So that afternoon, I made him promise to sign up for some sailing, and he did Wednesday night sailing, and he took up a martial art. And since then, good news, he's dating nice ladies. He's in a really good relationship where the woman is stable. And you'll find in certain relationships where the couples fight a lot, the need for variety and adventure is not being met. So it's being met through arguing in unresourceful ways. So boys, if you want to fulfill your need of variety and adventure, get out there, get to the football, and go and have some fun. Maybe do a skydive or something. And ladies, it's okay. Watch the dramas. That's your needs being fulfilled. Occupy yourself. Get out there and have some fun. But that's I'm talking about the 6 core needs. It's a completely different topic, and I'm going to need a few more hours for that one. So that's for another day, guys. So the dominant. Just to wrap things up, the dominant woman who isn't balanced, or the man, they drive, they're constantly driven by significance, and they're going to need someone who's stable, who provides them with lots of certainty. Otherwise, they'll get bored. And, there are many ups and downs of different personality types. And if you're aware of your own and you're aware of your partners, you can learn to communicate effectively and connect. So to summarize tonight, I hope you got a lot out of it. Had some really amazing feedback. So tonight, I want you to just take a moment to, most importantly, focus on your wants, what you really, really want, rather than what you don't want. I want you to focus on what it is that you need. I want you to connect with yourself, and that means checking your ego at the door. I want you to acknowledge your mini-me. Say, "Thanks, mini-me, but this is what I really choose to do." I want you to practice doing things differently, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So really focus on connecting with others, asking questions, asking open-ended questions. And I want you to model confidence within yourself. Visualize you as the way you want to be, and your unconscious mind, it won't know the difference. Make yourself feel $1 million, invest in some new clothes, perhaps a new hairstyle. Spring's just around the corner, so it could be a perfect opportunity for you to do that. So I want to thank you so much for tonight. And any of you on the call who would like to know more, I'd love to invite you into my Inner Circle monthly sessions or one-on-one workshops. Now, it is an application process, so if this is something you'd like to know more about, or if you have any questions from tonight's webinar, I'd love to help in any way. So please feel free to contact me on samantha@bluelabellife.com.au, or you can visit the website bluelabellife.com.au, and I do look forward to inviting you along to another webinar coaching session in the future and meeting you in person. So have a lovely evening, and I look forward to staying connected and hearing all about your positive connection stories. So thanking you. Good night.